All right. Can you hear my voice? Please give me a thumbs up. Can you hear my voice? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Onome Samuel. Okay, so others should start joining the class. Just a minute, please. Okay, so I want to officially welcome everyone to the day 2 class of this professional training and on occupational safety and health. We started this training yesterday. That's the one of this training of occupational safety and health, where we dealt with some of the rudiments, that is some of the terminologies that we are going to be coming across when it comes to occupational safety and health and in relation to the work environment. So we dealt with those. We looked in depth into personal protective equipment, I beg your pardon. We also looked at a whole lot of some fundamental things that we need to get acquainted with when it comes to occupational safety and health. And we stopped on personal protective equipment yesterday, and we equally discussed some other things in that class. And I want to believe that as today's class progresses, we are going to be making references to all those things that were taught in yesterday's class. So my name is Kehinde Samson Ogunmuyiwa, and I'm going to be your moderator for this training session. So most people who were present in yesterday's class can actually recognize or are already familiar with this face. And it's also important to note for me to state that, yes, this training was brought to you courtesy CUC Concept Training Company Limited. CUC Concept Training Company Limited is a professional training firm. We facilitate professional trainings across board and trainings that cut across various professions when it comes to industrial practices, management trainings, safety trainings, accounting trainings, and the like. So just see us like a training platform, a training school whereby you go to upgrade and to update yourselves when it comes to professionalism. So we are here for you, and we are here to help you achieve your career goals. So this training on occupational safety and health is particularly designed for safety professionals, those who are in the engineering field, where we have a whole lot of experience on the job, in order to mitigate all those, in order to draw the attention of workers, of employees to the importance of safety when at their workplace. Hence, we have brought this training together. So in today's class, we are going to be picking up from where we stopped yesterday. And yes, I did mention in yesterday's class that in today's class, at the end of today's class, we are going to be giving out the information for those who are interested in the certification for this training. At the end of the class, on the WhatsApp group, we'll be dropping the documents containing the course certification of this training. But most importantly, the training is what, and the knowledge is what we want to pass across. And at the end of this training, we are equally going to be giving out assessment. So for everyone who has been a part of this class yesterday and today, in order to assess you and to be able to see that indeed what has been taught so far in the class is quite understandable, you are going to be taking on a test that is the course assessment. And aside from this assessing your understanding of what has been taught in this course so far, it's also a prerequisite to you obtaining the certification for this course. So please, at the end of the class, those information are going to be made known to us. So yes, like we did say, this training is a 2-day training. And of course, yes, many people will say, professional safety and health is it 2 days. But trust me, our resource person, we have resource personnel who are capable of handling this training, facilitating it within that 2 days. Yes, we understand that many people are quite busy due to their work schedule and likes, but what we are teaching in these 2 days are things that are very, very much relevant when it comes to profession of occupational safety and health. Yes, and in today's class, you are going to be seeing more of that. I would like to also acknowledge the presence of our resource person, Mr. James Fanny, who unavoidably couldn't join the class on time yesterday. But today is here with us, and in a short while from now, you are going to be hearing the voice of our trainer, our resource person, Mr. James Fanny. Yes, he always tells me to please forgo the formalities whenever we are doing training like this. He's always after, passing out his wealth of knowledge so that every other person can benefit from it. And I want to, also affirm that yes, we have practitioners across board who are joining us in today's class as well. We welcome you. We have safety practitioners who are in this class. We welcome you. We appreciate your presence in this class. And let us, journey together, and let us have a lovely and wonderful experience as far as this professional training on occupational safety and health is concerned. At the end of the class, if you have questions, please take them down, note them down. At the end of the class, there's ample time and opportunity for you to ask your questions whatsoever. So please, let's take note of that. But while the class is ongoing, please endeavor to put your microphones on mute. If you need to ask the question, just signify by raising up your hands. We can either call you or pen questions to the end of the class. So on that note, I want to say welcome again to everyone. And I believe that at the end of this class, yes, we all will be able to give a positive feedback. We'd love to share your feedback and get your response, how the class has been so far since the beginning, since yesterday. So the next voice you'll be hearing will be that of our resource person. So please let us give him our undivided attention, and that the class today might be quite enjoyable and interesting for us all.
So I want to welcome you to the day 2 of our OSH training, occupational safety and health training, and the final day for this training. Yeah, you may wonder why we actually limited it to 2 days, and that's because we know that we have a lot of busy people on board. I just wish you could actually see the portfolios of everyone here. You know that these are busy people, but out of our busy schedule, our safety is very paramount, and I believe that's why many people are actually kind of joining us on this training. So we've started, and then tonight we have a whole lot to cover, just like I said yesterday. So let's begin immediately. Thank you, moderator. Moderator has introduced me. My name is James Fanny, so I don't need to reintroduce myself. So we need to start immediately because we have a whole lot. Permit me, moderator, can you please grant me access to share my screen? Moderator, please permit me to share my screen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Moderator. That will be done in a bit.
Okay. So yesterday, we did a whole lot on the overview of general safety at workplace, and we talked so much about the sources and let me say things that actually cause accidents. We talk about human behavior. We talk about the work environment condition. That's what we're discussing: unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. So yesterday we talked about hazards. We discussed, how to prevent unsafe condition and how to control unsafe acts. We discussed a whole lot: PPE, personal protective equipment, how to wear it correctly, and which one do you have to wear, at workplace, and what kind of job may actually demand that. So we discussed a whole lot yesterday, and I think a lot of answers, or let me say a lot of lessons, also came out from the questions being asked. So thank you very much. We are joining us on Google Meets, on YouTube or Facebook tonight. So let's get started. Thank you, moderator. I can share now. Yeah. So I want to start today's class with this, okay? And I want to see How many of us really, was present in yesterday's training, and how many of us had gone through the recorded session of the training? So if you have gone through the recorded session of the training, or you were present yesterday, you may be able to actually answer all those questions. So now I want to ask, and that's what I'm starting with, what is the difference between hazard and risk? Moderator, please, you can take charge now. I need people to give answers to this. Who can answer that? What's the difference between hazard and risk? Who would give me that tonight as we are starting? You can see this man here, so I'm also jotting down just like this man. Who can give us the difference between, moderator, are you there, sir? Are you there, Mr. Moderator? Okay, so you can raise your hand. You can raise your hand if you can answer that. Raise your hand, I will call you. I think moderator is not. Moderator, are you there?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I asked a question. People are raising their hands.
Okay, then. So please, if you have an answer to the question, just raise your hand so I would call you. Okay, Mr. Ismaila Shaba, can you unmute yourself? Ismaila Shaba, can you unmute yourself? You are the only one I can see your hand. Okay, I guess it's not available. Okay, Derek, can you unmute yourself, sir?
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. So I would say hazard, is anything that has potential to cause harm. And this could be a physical object, substance, or a process. Can I give an example?
Please go ahead.
Okay, like a wet floor that can cause slips or fall. Then a risk is, what I can say about a risk is, let me say a probability that a person will be harmed or experience advanced health effects if exposed to a hazard.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
All right. Right. Okay.
Is there any other person that wants to give a try? Mr. Moderator, someone have I think we have a.
No other. Okay. No other person. No other person.
Okay. Thank you so much for that answer. I think you were very much on point. Okay. Yes. The way you define it is okay. Defining the hazard, and also the way you also define a risk. I love the word you use there. That's the key word, probability.
Okay, thank you.
The probability that somebody will be, will sustain harm, from an hazard. Okay. So hazard, as we explained yesterday, is anything that has potential to cause harm. So the risk in this case is that, yes, this thing has the potential to cause harm. But what's the probability that the harm will actually occur? So you can have a dormant hazard. Can you hear me, please? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
I can see your screen. I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So if you have any challenge anytime and I'm talking, please reach out to the moderator immediately. So that's the difference we have. Now I need another person to give the difference between incident and accident. Anybody? Incident and accident. I actually explained this also yesterday. I mentioned this. Moderator, please.
I can see Mr. Akiola Abayomi. Akiola Abayomi. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, from my own knowledge, I would say incidents are things that we have put in place
an accident will happen, then accidents are hazard that causes no. You tried. Don't let me say there's no right or wrong here. So, but yeah, that's not what we. Yeah, that's not what they really mean.
Good man, Godfrey.
Happiness John, please go ahead first. Happiness John. Happiness John, you can unmute your mic and respond to the question.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Yes, good afternoon.
Accident. It can be seen as an unforeseen event that results in harm, damage, or loss. An example of an accident can be a car that crashes somebody, while an incident is also an unplanned event, whether it results to harm, damage, or not. It can be a near miss or a minor event.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's listen to others.
You can unmute yourself then.
Okay, good evening. In my own, from what I learned yesterday, an accident is an event that can happen unintentionally. Why an incident is an event that may result, maybe not in damage, harm, or injury, but it's an event that happens unintentionally, but it might not really cause a damage or a harm or injury.
Yes. Thank you so much. Accidents has a substance that leads to it. There must be something that you fail to correct. There must be an hazardous situation that you can see, but you fail to correct it. And if anything happens from that, maybe an injury or death or anything whatsoever, that is an accident. But when you talk about incident has no traces. You may not have any trace whatsoever or any clue that that particular thing will happen. I made an example yesterday. Somebody dropped banana peel on the floor. All of us refuse to pick it and dispose it because we believe that we are not the one that ate that banana. If anybody sleep based on that banana peel on the floor, that is an accident. We refuse to correct the situation. That's why it led to an accident. But let's say we have a case of robbery in the factory. Nobody expected that armed robbers will come at that time. Nobody knew, even no matter maybe the security you put in place, you can still have a case of robbery. That is an incident. So we need to actually as people who are going through this training, you need to know how to use these terminologies, how to use them well, so that you will not be so generic like a layman who may not have this knowledge. So it's very important. So hazard, again, anything with the potential to cause harm to life, health, or property. And risk is the measure of the likelihood and severity of potential injury or illness resulting from a hazard. We have different types of hazard. Yesterday we discussed about the economic hazard that relates with your job, or it relates with the repetitive activities that you do. When you see somebody who works in mines where there is always blasting, the person will get used to noise, and then his ear drums or the hearing ability might actually be damaged over time. That is ergonomic hazard. But you have somebody that his own is to be standing, going down, standing, going down, standing, going down. That person may actually be, in fact, when you interact with people that work in mines, there are many of them that even when they get home, they began to hear the reverberation. We call it reverberation in physics. They will be hearing the reverberation of noise as if their ears have stored the noise from the factory and is now replaying itself when they are home. When you see people that they work with equipment that vibrate a lot, especially those people that use drill on the road. The equipment they use every day vibrates. These people, even when they sit down and they are not holding anything, over time, their hands and their legs will just vibrate, involuntarily. That's an economic hazard. Somebody that always sits down, his job is to sit down and he sits for long, 10 or 12 hours. He might begin to actually have something like hunchback, okay? Because he's always bent like that, that even if you want to straighten up, you could not straighten again. That's economic hazard, okay? You can also have physical hazard, that is physical things that can cause a physical harm, like knife, like your plier. Those ones, they can result to a physical hazard. Chemical hazard, inhaling of chemicals. Biological hazard, that's viruses, okay? So these are, types of hazard. And the major one we mentioned yesterday is also psychological hazards. I've actually experienced a lot of, in this work of safety, where you see that the problem that a particular company is having, or the result of, the injuries that they are recording, the accident that they are recording, because it's normal. Whenever there's an accident or any injury at workplace, it's always being recorded so that it can actually be brought into, safety audit. Anytime we want to actually carry out the audits, we have to ask them, what are the, history, historical background of this equipment? How many people have been injured by this equipment and all that? So we discovered that a lot of accidents could actually be controlled if the workers are in the right frame of mind. That's the psychological hazard. The shift that you run can affect the workers. The time that you make payments, their salary. When you are in the culture of delaying salary, maybe until the calendar is until the 5th or 6th of the following month. This can actually, affect the mental stability of the workers, and then they begin to misbehave. Okay. The culture you also put in place. Okay. There are some areas where people, if they enter there, they must not use a earpiece. They must not just be listening to music, because you want them to be very alert. The signs and symbols of safety that you put in places, for everybody to see, and so that they will not have any excuse. All these actually, can, help with this, either give birth psychological hazard or help us to mitigate psychological hazard. Now, I want us to look at this diagram. Can you identify any other hazards in this picture? Are there hazards in this picture? Yes, there are. We have a lot of things to cover, so I may not ask that question. So, of course, if you have noted it with me, then you are right. That what the wet floor here is an hazard. Even the cable that you see that is flying about, all these things. And when you look at just picture where you walk now and see, if you normally have all these kind of cables, like this rod that you are looking at here, it can roll. If anybody step on this, let me make a mark. Let me change my marker to red so that you can see what I'm marking for you. So look at this. Anybody that step on this can roll, can make the person to fall and sleep. This is not properly packed, okay? This can affect the gangway, anybody that is passing here. Anybody that step on this can actually trip, and so many much more like that. So what does that actually tell us? It means that there must be, we must uphold what we call housekeeping. We must uphold it. These pictures, we had a lot of this yesterday, and I think that we all actually brought out, hazards, hazardous situations, unsafe conditions out of those pictures. We did all that yesterday, and then I would like us to look at this. When we are talking about occupational safety and health, what it involves. Okay, so it involves facilities, tools, and equipment. So we made mention of all this yesterday. Okay, all our facilities, all our tools and equipment have to support the safety of the workers. It must not actually pose threats to their health. Okay, we must actually still draft procedures, standards, and policies. What are the procedures? How do we carry out our work? Yes, we are into production, but the processes that our production go through can affect the staff. I met a man, there was a time I met a man, I won't want to mention the name of the company. He told me that they work in cold room. And when you hear of cold room, for many of us that may not know what we mean by that, it means that you are working in a place where the temperature is very, very low, lower than room temperature that human body is supposed to actually survive in. So you can imagine when you are in a place, you are working at maybe 10 degrees Celsius. Even if you have AC, your AC shouldn't be, at home. Let's say 17, you put it on 17 or so. And if you feel that it's too cold, you can still increase the temperature. But when you're in cold room, you can have 5 degrees Celsius. You can, most of these people that are into this magic cube and all that, they work in cold room. And there is a particular vest that they're supposed to wear so that it will protect their chest. He said they never gave them. And the only thing that they always tell them is that if you want to resign. We don't have. So you have to go in there. And many people who are just depending on the job to feed their family and they're looking at the condition of the country, they will do it. But trust me, their lifespan, get reduced even with that. Because you would think that you are all right, but a lot is actually going on in your body. I've met a man also who works in the chemical, they deal with chemical in their company, and these are people that are not being given nose masks. In fact, they are using all these they are using the common nose mask that you see. It's a special nose mask they're supposed to actually be using. There are some regions that you may want to enter in a company that deal with chemicals. You may have to use artificial oxygen, so that you're not breathing the air there. All these conditions, we are bringing it to your notice because you are the only one that is responsible for your health. You are the first man standing. And if possible, we may say the last man standing. That will defend all these things. You may unfortunately be working in a company where they do not really care about the safety of the worker. But like I answered the question yesterday, if they see that you invest into your safety, it's going to be a lot of challenge to them. They give you a fake safety boot, you got an original one for yourself. They gave you this, you got this. They didn't give you are using it. Other staff will see what you are doing, and you're going to be a very good example. And trust me, if I'm talking about, I'm just talking about a company. There are also some staff or employees that do not care about their health. The funny thing is that when I was working in cement plants, okay, what they used to do before was at the end of every month, there is a number of tin milk that they normally give out to every staff, so that when you take this milk, experimentally, when you take milk, even if you have inhaled cement, you have inhaled some of those particles, that is going to actually neutralize it, and it's going to kind of neutralize them in your body system. Guess what? The funny thing that was happening is that right there at the gates, whenever immediately they are sharing the milk, we don't know how the dealers or people that are selling milk in the town, we don't know how they normally get the information. They will be waiting for their customers at the gates. Who are their customers? These are the staff, the cement, staff, the cement plant staff. They are collecting the milk that were given to them to go and drink, to nurture their body and nourish their body and reduce the hazardous, particles they must have inhaled. These people will be selling it right there at the gate. When the company discovered this, they had to convert the milk, they convert it to monetary term. They will not add it up in the salary. Of course, you guys are selling it, so why are we giving you? Let's just take it in the salary. If you like, you can, remove your own money and go and buy the milk. So don't let us stress ourselves buying the milk again. So as we have the companies that are very, they have, like I said, basic attitude towards safety of employees. Likewise, we have staff that also have like a basic attitude towards their own health. They don't care. They believe that they are a Superman. They can do anything. And all these have what repercussions. So OSH also include preacher training. There should be training. Unfortunately, many companies are in the habit of, in fact, There are some people that are working in companies even for 10 years and they have never experienced anything like safety training. If they are going to bring training, it's going to be a training that will only benefit them. It's going to be a training that will only make you to do the job that they, on-job training, or not the one that will teach you about your safety or how to be safe or anything like that. There should be safety training. There should be safety communications, and that's what we'll talk about, signs and symbols. Okay, I'm going to be showing you some also tonight. There should be leadership. Leadership is the involvement of the management. All supervisors, all managers, they are not exempted. If there's a place nobody must enter without safety boots, as you are coming, even as the manager or the owner of the company, you have to put on your safety boots, because accident is no respecter of anybody. Okay, there must always be risk assessment and information. What is risk assessment? Every equipment in the company must always be assessed. And what is this risk assessment? We want to know what are the hazards attached to this particular machine. What are the injuries that anybody whatsoever may sustain from this machine? Can there be, bombs? Can the person hit his head? Does this machine have a potential of chopping off somebody's finger? Does it have a potential of, causing this harm or that? So we have to list out all the hazards that are possible with the machine. Now, after listing out all these hazards, then we begin to get the equipment that we may actually use, or the process that we can use to mitigate those hazards. How can we control those hazards? How can we reduce the risk? That will be the next thing. But when we don't know the hazards that are attached to a machine, there's no way we can actually control them. We must also have our goals and objectives. What is our goal and objectives? I remember back then when I was working with cement plant, there are some beautiful things that they do, and there are some beautiful things that, some horrible things that they also do. So the beautiful thing is that we normally celebrate, when we have a year of no accident or no injury, there is always a big celebration. And it's not just a celebration, all the staff, they will receive a commission. There is a commission for it. So you can imagine when you have that kind of system, that is a motivation for even staff or employees to work safely. Because in a year in your department, if there's no case of accident, there is a particular amount of money according to your salary or your level that they pay everybody annually. There's always a celebration like that. That can be the goals and objectives, to record 0 injury, 0 death. So when we have a target towards our safety, then everybody will be alert, and we are going to actually establish what a safety culture, as we discussed yesterday. There must always be motivation, like I mentioned now. Okay, fine, if you can walk without recording accident. I know of drivers, most of the drivers, company drivers, they have this as a rule. If your vehicle, you come back with your vehicle being hit by another vehicle on the road, let's say you just bring it back, maybe being bashed by another car. If it happened 3 times, 2 times, I think is warning, 3 times, depending on company anyway. If it happens 4 times, you are going to be sacked. No explanation. Nobody wants to hear, oh, Lagos is a rough place, oh, the person was driving rough. It means that you cannot drive the company car or company vehicle safely. So they sack the person, those kind of driver immediately. And if you're also a driver, you can drive this car. There is a stipulated time that they only give them without, no, you did not hit the car, no case of accident or anything whatsoever. There are also some motivation, like commission they normally give them. There must always be safety audits. See, you can't get it all right. And the more you introduce, new equipment to the plants, you should know that as you are introducing a new equipment, you are introducing new hazards. You are introducing new possibility of accidents, injuries, threat to life. And that is why there must always be, safety audits. Safety audit must always, take place. You must always check the policies that we have set. How effective are they? How many people have we recorded who have been injured? Oh, we carried out risk assessment on this machine. Has anybody been injured by this machine for like 6 months of using it? These are things that auditing will actually give you. Auditing does not mean that you are stupid, you are foolish, but it must be a statutory thing with the company. Oh, is it every year you want to be doing it? Is it every 6 months? No, normally you can do it every year. But if there are some challenging departments, you may set out those departments to even be like, oh, every 6 months we want to be. If you introduce a new technology to a company, you're introducing a new source of hazards. Okay. And also there must be responsibility and accountability. Some people must be responsible, when it comes to giving reports on safety. Every staff must take responsibility, not only the safety officer. People must be accountable. If anything happens, they must be able to say, oh, why did it happen? Who was responsible? Who was on duty? What happened and all that. So people must take responsibility and accountability. I know I've worked with tough companies where they don't joke with even that downtime. If there's downtime for 1 minute, even for 1 second, when I was working in the telecommunication industry, if your site is down for 1 second, even in cement plant, if it's down for one second, a particular department must take responsibility. Is it the mechanical fault that causes it? Is it electrical? Is it instrumentation? You see all of them coming together, arguing out point that, oh, we are not the one at fault, you are the one at fault. So there must be accountability also when it comes to safety, not only on the job. So that takes me to explaining, okay. Let's quickly look at JSA, because JSA also cuts across, risk assessment. Now, what is JSA? JSA is known as job safety analysis. If you are with me, say I. Can you please unmute and say I? And then
Hi.
So thank you. That's thank you. So JSA means job analysis. JSA means job safety analysis. Please just mute yourself. Yes, enough I already. Thank you. Yeah, just mute yourself. JSA is okay. It's okay. Thank you. Please let's mute. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now, what is JSA? JSA means job safety analysis. Now, I don't know if you actually do this in your company. Now, for every task, this is the safety standard. I'm saying it. For every task, no matter how small, mute yourself, please. Mute yourself, please. For every task and responsibility you want to carry out, any project, no matter how small, JSA must be carried out. That's what we call job safety analysis. JSA is a pre-risk analysis of a particular task you want to carry out. Before we do the job, we want to know what are the hazards attached to this task. What are the possible ways that any of the people that are working on this particular task or project can get injured? What are the things that can threaten, that hold threats to their life or to their safety? In fact, not only the job, even the environment where they will carry out the job, JSA is an on-site, you have to carry out that safety analysis. You have to carry it out and be sure that, every angle from where these people can actually suffer threats, either to their health or to their life. And it's always, if you go on internet, you'll see different JSA forms. I'm just giving you this sample. Just look at if it's in a physical class, I always want everybody to prepare JSA, but just look at this on my screen. This is a JSA form, is a sample. You can have different. I just want to show you things that will be there. The task title will be there. What do they want to do? You can say, oh, installation of electric motor on this. Don't mind me if I'm using more of electrical because that's my background. So installation of this, if it's a civil engineer, erection of maybe pillar in this also. So if that is the task, you have to state it. That's the task title. And then there must be where is it happening? The department where is happening, okay? Is it electrical or mechanical, okay? The analysis, another thing is that JSA must be prepared by everybody that will do the job. It is not a kind of risk analysis that you can do by proxy. It is not people that will not do the job that will go and do it. It is the people that will even do the job that must perform JSA. Everybody must be involved. Why? Because it has to do with their safety. The standard believe that if they carry your safety, they put it in your hands, and you go and do your own JSA, and the JSA finally failed, then you have nobody to blame than to blame yourself. If there's any exposed cable, you are the one that did not spot it when you are doing your JSA that, oh, there's an exposed cable where we will be doing this job. I think it can actually lead to what? Electrical shock or electrocution, and then the company will put all those things in place to know whether they are going to actually what? Remove it, or they are going to, you know, substitute, or they are going to guard it, to build guard around it. If you fail to spot all those problems, then you carry the cross. So how many companies today, you know, actually make their staff to prepare GSA before they go and do a particular task? I doubt if we can actually count 4 or 5 across the nation. But it's a standard, it's the safety standard. You have to prepare your GSA. Okay. Now look at what we have in the GSA. Sequence of the job that you are going to do step by step. Let's say it's the installation of electric motor. Will there be what's it called? The design? Okay. Will there be layout, circuit interpretation, whatever may be the steps that you're going to take? If it's somebody that is building a house, will there be surveying? Will the surveying be done? Will a foundation be laid and everything? You have to break down all the tasks. Why must you break down all the tasks one by one? People that are project manager among us might actually understand. When you break down the task, that is when you can see the hazard attached to them. When you're just looking at a task, you may be confused to know everything that may go wrong. But when you break them to the simplest units, then you can see all of them that, oh, I want to cook, you know, in my kitchen. I must go to market to do the shopping, and then I will fill the gas. Okay, I will wash the dishes, and then I will begin to slice pepper and onion. Now, you can see you want to cook. That's actually the project. But now you have actually taken down all the tasks that will be involved in you cooking that particular meal. Now you now be taking each one by one. In going to market, is there any hazard attached to that? Are there dangers? Oh, there will be some danger. That means that if I'm going to market, I must be careful. There will be frosters. Oh, there will be this, there will be that. Oh, if I'm filling the gas, there may be explosion. Oh, if I'm doing the dishes, I may survive a cut in my hands. If I'm slicing the onions, what about my eyes? You know, what about my finger and all that? You begin to, and then you cannot think of proper way or a better way of you doing the job, or things that you need to actually put in place to mitigate, all the hazards that may occur from it. So in this column here, this is where you list out everything step by step. Now, as I've mentioned, according to the steps 1 that you listed here, you now put the potential hazard. What are the hazards attached to it? The hazard might be what? There may be cut, there may be slip, there may be electrocution. You begin to write all of them. And then what do you now recommend as the action or procedure so that all these things that you have seen as the potential hazards may not happen or may be reduced to the barest minimum? Should there be, PPE? And that's in most cases, there will be PPE that you will recommend. Oh, these people they are open to cuts here. Okay, let there be hand glove. Let them wear hand glove. What kind of hand glove will they need? Depending on the nature of the machine, the thickness of the hand glove also will depend on the nature of the machine they are actually using. The length that the hand glove will go, whether it's going to be the one that will reach their elbow, that will just stop on their wrist, will also determine, it's also going to be determined by the nature of the job that they are doing. So that is about JSA. Let me return to my main material. So, and that also control what the risk analysis. Okay, I've spoken about this. I've spoken about this. Yes. Now we want to talk about the hierarchy of controls. Now, in hierarchy of controls of hazards, yes, you may spot hazards. You have identified hazards. We have spoken so much about identification of hazards because one of the beautiful things you will do yourself in this class is the ability for you to see what is wrong and identify it. If you cannot identify what is wrong, then your safety, I'm sorry, is not guaranteed. When you can be in an environment and you cannot point at 10 or 12 things that are wrong in that place or that have the potential to even injure anybody, that means that you yourself, you are not safety conscious. So, but now after you have identified the hazards, there are still some hazards that you may remove completely. There are some of them that you may have to reduce. There are some of them you have to find what different way. That's what we want to look at. That's what we call hierarchy of controls. Now, don't pay attention to just the control. They are the control, but pay attention to the word hierarchy. Hierarchy means what? Preference. It means that you first try this. If this doesn't work, that's when you try that. Then when you try that, that does not work, then you try another this. Now, when you try this and it does not work, then you try another that. That is hierarchy, okay? You go from one step to another. Now, the first hierarchy of hazard control is elimination. It's always good for us to first look at it. Yes, these hazards that we actually have spotted, can we eliminate it that it will not even exist? Trust me, the only best way for us to do that is housekeeping. I said it yesterday. In fact, more than 50% of most of the hazards that we see in factory can actually be eliminated by good housekeeping. When you practice a good housekeeping, somebody just finished doing a job that has to do with what? Oil. And when it's done, he picked a mob and mopped the place so that the oil, you know, the remnant of the oil can actually be cleaned. He cleaned it, dried the surface. Come and tell me how somebody will step on that place and still sleep and fall, except if he's careless. Somebody that spots an exposed cable, reported it to the electrical department. They came there, they retighten it, they put a seal tape around it, okay? Even if it's the one that they cannot repair immediately, they put beware, or they put a poster, bad, do not use. Oh, bad, do not operate. Tell me how the environment will not be safe. That is proper housekeeping. That's the effective way we can actually eliminate, hazards. In most cases, trust me, it's very difficult to achieve, elimination, because most people will still be rough. Go to factory, as you are seeing one careful person, you will see 20 careless and carefree people who do not care. Some people will even put something there. They will put it in their mind that, oh, it's there, so that they will not be harmed by that particular thing. But they do not care, about another person that may go there who may not know that that thing is there and will sustain injury. And that's where what? Safety culture comes in. Now, after elimination, substitution. If we cannot eliminate, can we substitute? Substitution means that what? Can we change the process by which the job is going to be done? Instead of us doing this job manually, can we do it automatically? Because manually, we make our staff somebody to interact with what? The machine. Can we operate the machine automatically? If you can do that, then you might have, saved a lot of problems by substituting what? The process. So we try substitution to say, okay, fine. Instead of people to go into this place, and that's why you see that what the whole world is achieving through with AI. Why would people go to war and just be losing men? Can we send robots? Can we send machines to war? There are some units that we may want to go and perform maintenance. Instead of us to enter that place as human beings, can we actually build some robots that can go in there and do the maintenance? We know that when we lose a robot, it's better than losing a life. It's better than losing somebody. I've seen a documentary of where the robots are the one actually doing what? What we normally call manual handling, okay, that's carrying a load. Instead of human being doing the job, to be carrying load, to be having a problem with their spinal cord over years. And we build robots that they will be the one that will be packing the load. And they program them in such a way that they are not even colliding. And what human being will even pack, if you are going to pack 100 pieces, the robot will pack it within the time that you will use. They will pack about 2,000. If there is a system like that that we can put in place, then we can save a lot of problems from humanity. Because the only thing we do to robots is to just maintain them, is to oil where we're supposed to oil, update the programming, and all sorts. If the substitution is not possible, can we isolate? Isolation means that you building a guard around a machine. If there's a machine that can cut somebody's hand, can we build a guard around it? If you observe, look at the grinding machine, it has a guard around it. I gave you an example of a knife also yesterday, that invention of a knife that we are using today. In those days, it used to be, the handle of the knife used to be built with a wooden, handle. Over time, they changed it to rubber. They improved on it so that, okay, fine, we can protect the person that is actually using it. So we can build guard to isolate the machine so that the operator will not be able to interact with the machine by any part of his body. If that is not possible, can we actually do engineering control? Engineering control means that there are some machines that you may have to redesign them because they are not fit. If you normally follow up, there are some companies that when they release a particular product, especially vehicles, I don't want to be mentioning names, when they release the vehicle into the market and they begin to now have a lot of safety, complaint about the vehicle. I've had this before, that they have to call back all those vehicles from the market. They call all of them back, which means that if you have bought it, you have to also return it, and they redesign them before they now put them back to the market. So engineering control also work. Administration, which is very important. You can see the hierarchy. Administration is so effective to the extent that is the one that will actually control the human behavioral attitude that are against safety. Policies, procedures. I hope you are looking at my screen. Policies, procedures, training. You have to train people. Sometimes for them to use, I have seen companies where they will just give a staff PPE. Is wrong. You cannot assume that people know how to use PPE. You have to train them. Don't say, oh, it's safety boot. You have to let him know that this is how to tie the lace of your safety boot. You don't just tie the lace of your safety boot as if you want to do fashion inside the plant. It is meant to protect your leg. Wear it properly. Wear the helmet properly. Don't button off your coverall. Your coverall is meant to cover you. Don't wear your coverall and be rolling off the sleeves. There is no gain in it. People that did coverall or overall, they did it with long sleeves. They know what they are doing. Is to protect you up to your wrist. You are not to wear it and just be rolling it up. Or as some ladies engineer will do, they will remove the arms, the two arms, and they will now tie it to their stomach, and then still be walking up and down in the factory. And the safety officer will be saying that. The supervisor will be saying that. Nobody will complain about it. These are wrong ways. Administrations will actually put this, it will put it into place and do a lot of what? Correction. Now, the last but not the least is the PPE. If we cannot achieve all these other things, yes, we must now hand over people's safety in their own hands. Wear these to protect yourself. That is what PPE, and that is the hierarchy of control. I don't want to be do that. So let's look at the flow chart again together. Let's look at the flow chart together. I'm going to be touching it, and then you'll be seeing it. The question is, can you eliminate the hazard? If it is yes, eliminate it. But if it is no, then you come down. Can you reduce its risk since you cannot eliminate it? Oh, yes, let us reduce it. Oh, no, we cannot reduce it. Oh, that means that what? Can we isolate it then? Reducing means that what? Substitution. But if we cannot substitute, can we isolate? Oh, yes, we can isolate. Then isolate. You build barriers between the human and also the machines. But if you cannot isolate, can you control the hazard or reduce the risk by administrative method? by certain policies, by certain guides, by certain procedures. This is what you must do before you enter here. You must do this before you enter there. You must do that and that, so that you guide people on how to work safely. Then we need to introduce that. And then PPE comes. Now, somebody will ask a question. Why do we have to go through all this if we can just actually use PPE? Why do we have to go through all this if we can what? Just use what? PPE. Okay. Just give me a minute. I want to show you a picture. It's a funny picture anyway, but it's still not funny. Anything about safety is not funny. So I want to show you a picture. Okay. Okay. So from my material, I want to show you a picture, because somebody will ask, since we have all this hierarchy, why do we have to go through all this stress? If I can just give people PPE, oh, let your safety be in your hands. If you like, protect yourself. If you like, don't protect yourself. So if we can do that, why do we have to go through, the engineering control, the elimination, substitution, and all sorts, as I've actually mentioned? Then it is very important that we address that. I want to show you the picture. It's a funny picture, but it has to do with safety. Like I said earlier, it is not it's not funny. Give me a minute. I just hope everyone can hear me. Are people on Facebook? Moderator, do we have our people intact on Facebook, sir?
Yes, we have every channel up and running.
Okay,
go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so look at the picture. This is the picture I want to show you. So you can see, some of you wonder when did there was a rat start wearing helmets. So this is the rat. These rats want to get this food, but it knows that there is danger there. So there's danger around here. Of course, many of us people in the 80s and 90s, they will remember this method of killing rats at home. Okay, so once the rat puts his mouth here, this will be what activated, and the metal will actually is to hit his head. So now the rat is actually wearing a helmet. So the rat can just move close, just go and take the food. If the metal wants to hit him, it will only hit the helmet and it will still escape. Now, this has always been the mindset of some of the company. They don't go through all these things that I analyzed. They don't bother themselves with elimination. They don't bother themselves with substitution. They don't have policy. They don't have safety policy. All they just do is that employ people, and they believe that when they give them their fake PPE, everything will be all right. But in safety, that is very wrong. PPE should be considered only. Please note that. PPE should be considered only after other control measures have been tried and shown not to be feasible. It is only when you have tried other methods. That's why when PPE is the last resort. That's why we always call it the last resort. Because when nothing can protect you, your safety is now in your hands. That is the last resort. It means that they want you to actually do whatever you can do to actually ensure that you are safe. So PPE is not the first thing, it's always the last. So we should actually note this in PPE. And this brings me to just showing you, of course, many of us will be familiar with all this. Okay, these are PPE, this is the harness. For those that do work at height, this is the harness. Okay, this is ear muff. There is a difference between ear muffs and ear plug. Depending on the level of noise, this is preferable if you are working in mines or where there is much noise. And this is just a plug-in, just plug into your ear, just the same way your earpiece actually work. So you can just plug it in if the noise level is not that much. Okay, this is your overall. Okay, you can see all these that are against the safety. Look at what this man is doing. He's resting in between the tires. Just imagine if there is no inspection, if the person that wants to operate this heavy duty vehicle. If they want to just start the vehicle, they just start it. This man is going to be grounded in between here. These are, especially those people that work at sites. They are tired. They just want to rest somewhere. Look at this man that is working here. He's supposed to put on harness, but he's not putting on the harness. Look at this man. He does not have the proper shield. So he's the one that created these glasses. He just kind of would I say he's foolishly creative. So he created this for himself. Look at this man, no glove. He's doing an electrical work on an electrical pole. Look at him. There's no harness. These are wrong ways. Look at this man on the ladder. Okay. Maybe he's posing for picture or anything whatsoever. These are wrong things, wrong way, wrong way. Please avoid all these. They are against the safety. So let's quickly look at the safety signage and barricades, okay? Talking about safety communications. These are various ways we can communicate what safety at workplace. You have to watch out for safety signage and barricades. Sometimes when there is a job ongoing, you will see something like a ribbon being fenced around the place. Pay attention to all this. It is very important. Safety meetings, okay? If you are a supervisor or a safety officer attending this training, or you are a manager, or you are an engineer, please pay attention to all this. Safety training, safety meetings, emergency alarms should be put in place. MSDS, material safety data sheets, okay? Safety handbook and leaflets. Every company is supposed to have safety handbook. Just as you have a school handbook when you go to school, that will actually will tell you, some things about what safety is. Now, I want us to pay attention to the color. When you see those one in red, they means prohibitive, meaning that what you must not do it. Either you must not enter a particular place or you must not do a particular thing in that place. Red means danger, don't do. Blue means that what mandatory, you have to do that particular thing. Most times when you see that they put helmet, it means that you must use, if it's in blue color, you must wear helmet before you enter that place. So blue means what? Something mandatory you must do. Red means that something you must not do. Yellow means hazard warning. There's a caution. They are cautioning you. Actually show you that, oh, there is a danger here, okay, for you to actually what? Be aware of the hazard in that place. Green means that what? You are safe. You can go ahead. In fact, you can relax in that place. Anywhere you see green, it means that you can stand there, you can relax in that particular place. You can feel at home in that particular place. Orange means warning. Okay, there is a warning. So let me now show you some of those colors. Look at them. I have the yellow. What do I call yellow again? What do I call yellow? Warning.
Warning.
Warning. Thank you.
Warning.
Red.
Warning.
Yeah, thank you. Prohibition. Red. You can see the place. Caution is that what? Mind your head. They are warning you. Okay? Mind your head. That what? Look at the blue, like I said, it means that what? This one means you must put on your helmet. Okay? This green is the assembly place. Maybe in case of emergency, you can gather here, there, you are safe. This is what? Fire extinguisher, red, still showing you that what? This is danger. Okay? So it's very important that we take note of all these. And I made mention of W yesterday, permit to work, that there are some jobs that you may want to carry out, you need a permit. Confined space need permits. If you are working on an electrically energized equipment, you need permit for it. So on that note, you have to take note of what the permit that you also have. We have types of permits. General permit, which is code work. Code work means that what there is not going to be ignition in that particular unit when you are doing the job. So okay, fine, we know that there may not be a case of fire outbreak or anything. But if you are going for hot work, where there may be ignition, where there may be combustible materials, or you may ignite or flammable materials, then there must be some permit, like in confined space entry also. These are, things that you need to actually pay attention to. So this takes me to talking about our next training, which is fire safety. So welcome to fire safety, everyone. Welcome to fire safety training. And in this segment, in this training, talk about fire safety because there is a lot of threats to safety and health of staff, when it comes to, possible fire outbreak. If you have witnessed, an incident or fire outbreak at work before, then you can attest to what I'm talking about. Or if you have personally experienced it, it comes with chaos, it comes with emotions, it comes with fear, it comes with fear, it comes with shock, and a whole lot of things can actually be occurring. So I'm displaying this picture for me to actually explain what fire is. What is fire? To actually explain what fire is. What is fire? Fire is all these three things that you are seeing on my screen. We call it fire triangle. There is no fire without oxygen. There is no fire without heat, and there is no fire without fuel. These three things must actually come together to make a fire. Now, I will give you an example. Okay, let me give you an example. For those of us who have used stove before, stove to cook before, your fuel in that stove, we can say, is your wick. That's one that you normally dip inside the kerosene. Okay, and this fuel that you are using, the kerosene and even the wick that you are using together, they are the fuel, needs heat. There is a level of heat. Okay, that's why you see that if water has poured on them, the stove may not actually be working. There may not be fire because there is a level of combustion heat, combustible heat that every material may burn when they get that particular heat level. So there must be heat and there must be oxygen. If you cover fire and the fire does not interact with any oxygen, definitely it will go off. And that's what we normally demonstrate in most of our practical demonstration, where we use a smoldering method to take out fire. There's what we call fire blankets. If you cover, if you are, of course, it's advisable even for women to have it in their kitchen. If, let's say, you are frying plantain and then you overboil the oil, there are some situations that the oil and the frying pan can catch fire together. So if you are able to get a fire blanket and you use it to cover down that particular pot, the fire will go off. What is the fire blanket doing? It's separating that particular material from oxygen. So the process of taking out fire or extinguishing fire is the process of attacking any of these elements. If you want to extinguish fire, most of the fire extinguishers, what do they use? They can build them to fight oxygen. So some fire extinguisher will fight the oxygen, knowing that once the oxygen is out of the place, the fire will go off. Once any of these three elements is out, if you can take care of them, then the fire is out. If you can remove the fuel that is burning, if it's firewood, once you remove the wood from the fire, by experience, you know that that fire will start quenching, to start going down. So these are the experience. Okay, so if you can fight the fuel, you fight the fuel. If you can fight the oxygen, you fight the oxygen. If you can fight the heat itself. And that's why you see sometimes when you want to, if you have a stubborn stove, some people will even carry water. They will just pour it on the stove. That's because they want to bring down the heat. They want to quench the fire by bringing down the heat. So these are the three components that make up the fire. So let me share the file that we are using for this. Thank you. So fire safety. So why do we want to actually discuss this? We want to discuss how you can actually prevent fire incidents at work. So I want you to be paying attention to my screen. Look at these two. Look at this diagram. So you can see if you work in your place of, or even at home, you normally plug things like this. Okay, you are actually endangering yourself with fire incidents. Cables must be neatly laid, even if you are going to lay them down. This is not approved, but this is approved. Okay, so you can have that. Let us look at the fire emergencies. Now, there is an acronym that we use in fire emergency when there is fire incident. There is fire incident. Okay, what are the things that you need to remember? You need to remember the word raise. The word raise. Okay, so when you remember the word raise, what does it mean? R means that was rescue. Okay, A means alarm. You sound the alarm. C means contain fire, and E means extinguish the fire. But in case you cannot extinguish the fire, evacuate. Now let's look at them one by one. Rescue. What do you mean by rescue? You need to learn how to, if you are in your place of work and there's fire, a case of fire, you need to actually look for those people who may be helpless that you need to rescue. There may be somebody who is physically challenged. You know, we normally do a lot of demonstration of this whenever we are doing our fire safety drill. Okay, how do you rescue people? Okay, look at the picture here. So there may be people that you need to rescue. So you need to actually look out for people to rescue. The other thing about rescuing is that what? You must know your evacuation route. If you are not safe yourself, you cannot save others. If evacuation route means that, you know, a company must actually have a route of fire exit. That is, in case of fire, the emergency exit must always be there, and it must not be blocked. That is the exit that leads people out. It's the fastest route in the company that they know that it will make people to actually be out. It's not always opened. It's unless there is an emergency, and it must not be blocked. So in your place of work, if you have not observed your emergency exit in your place of work, go and ask your safety officer, or you try to actually look at the layout. The emergency exit must be something that every staff must actually know. Okay, so before you can rescue others, you must be sure that you can rescue yourself too. So the A that follow from the word raise, don't forget that we are using the acronym RAISE. Okay. So alarm, sound the alarm, raise the alarm. If your company does not have the alarm system, use your mouth for the alarm. Fire, 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 shout. Let everybody be alert that there is what fire outbreak. Because fire grows very fast. It's not the time for you to be doing a fashion, or you are not saying, oh, fire, I think there's a fire outbreak there. You are speaking grammar. No. It's an emergency. React to it as emergency. It's not that you are panicking, but you have to raise the alarm. But in most cases, if the company is standard, there must be a fire alarm that you can pull. So you pull the fire alarm. Once you pull it, you know, every staff must have been trained to know the sound of fire alarm. So that's another thing. If people don't know the sound of fire alarm, they will think that what is an alarm that want to start an equipment. I've worked in companies where if they want to start any equipment, there's always an alarm. So that alarm is always to tell people if you are resting on the machine that they're about to start, you need to leave that place. So the alarm is the first thing that will first ring. So everybody will clear off that particular unit. They know that they want to start that machine. If you know that the machine will make a hell lot of noise, you quickly plug in your ear muff or your ear plug. So fire alarm is different. So you need to actually know your own fire alarm. Or you call the emergency number. The emergency number, which I know is actually working now in Nigeria, is 112. I have a lot of people who have testified to it. 112 still work. Okay, that's the emergency alarm that you can actually use. You can raise emergency by either pulling the fire alarm, or you call the emergency number, so that they will be at alert to also get ready to come and fight the fire and take it out. Okay. Next, confine or contain the fire. Can you confine it? Yes, you can confine it. Don't forget that I told you that the components, the 3 components of fire. Okay. Is there anybody that can mention it for me? 3 components of fire. Anybody raise your hand? Let the moderator call you. Let the moderator call you. Oxygen. About component of fire. Moderator. We have
John Mark. John Mark Akazua. John Mark Akazua. John Mark. I can see your hands. Okay, Green Diana. Green Diana, please. You can respond.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon.
The components of fire is oxygen, fuel, and heat.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's proceed.
We have heat.
Please raise your hand if you want to talk. I will give you permission to raise your hand. Okay, thank you very much. I can see Joseph Humphrey. Can unmute yourself. Joseph Humphrey, are you there?
Yes, we have oxygen, and we have fuel, and we have heat.
Thank you very much. We have fuel, and then we have heat. So, and I said that if you want to quench fire, don't take out any of this. The fire we want will be out. That is what we mean by contain. So when you are running out, as you are running out, escaping from the case of fire incident, remember to close the doors. As you are shutting the doors, what are you doing? You are reducing the amount of oxygen that may be coming in. So when the air, you are suffocating the fire. When you suffocate the fire such that it cannot breathe, you may actually, end up being able to actually slow down the rate of growth of that fire. It doesn't mean that the fire will be out, but you are slowing down the rate of growth of that fire. Instead of the fire to become, a furnace within 5 or 10 minutes, you may be able to buy time before the fire emergency unit arrive. Close the door, but do not lock them. It is very important. That may be the exit route for somebody who is trapped in. So don't lock them, but you can close them as you are running out. The E is what? You either extinguish or you evacuate. I always want people, do not behave like you are the, what is this character? You are the James Bond or you are the Spider-Man. Fire extinguisher can only be used to fight small amount of fire. You can't see a whole unit already engulfed with fire and then you carry a small fire extinguisher and say you want to fight it. No. That may be what? That may require the fire unit who will bring their tanker and stand at a distance from it and then fight the fire. But can you actually use fire extinguisher? Yes, if you can do that. But if you cannot, make sure that you evacuate. And that is why when you are using your fire extinguisher, you must not turn your back to the wall. Your back must be to the exit. This is what I mean. Let me analyze. If this is the exit, this is the exit. Fire is burning here. This is fire that is burning. This is you that want to fight fire. This is the right way you can actually face fire. Okay, when you are standing at a particular feet away from the fire, this is you holding what? The fire extinguisher. As you are actually what? Using the fire extinguisher to fight this fire, let your back be towards the exit. Why is it like that? In most cases, when you are using fire extinguisher and the fire is more than what you can actually contain, what do? You'll be reversing, you'll be reversing, you'll be reversing. As the fire is advancing towards you, reverse. Once you get to this place, what do? You japa, you exit. Just imagine if you do not do that. If your back is against the wall, let's say this is the place, this place is not an exit. You can't escape, it's a wall. And you are fighting fire here. Fire keep on advancing. You are moving back. You are moving back. When you get to the wall here, what will happen to you? You become the food for fire yourself because you can't escape. That is the skill that is needed. When you are using your fire extinguisher, turn your back to the exit so that you can escape. Never turn your back to the wall where you'll be obstructed and fire will catch you down there and feed on you. So it's very important. So you can see this person here. This is the one fighting fire here. But now the fire could not be quenched. What is he doing? He's running out. Okay, he's exiting. So if it be anybody, if it be you, like the popular adverts, so try to actually learn that skill. Responding to fire, okay, evacuating plan. You must know the exit routes. I've mentioned that. Location of fire extinguishers in your company, you must know it. Many people don't know where the fire extinguishers are. They just see them. Like if there is fire incident now, you should know that, oh, that's where fire extinguisher is, and you can go there. Okay? You may be locked down in a particular place by fire. If you don't know where the fire extinguisher is, you can't risk your life coming out because you don't know if you are going to get one. Location of what? Pool station. Then you must actually know all this. Now let me go into this. You must also know the emergency number. Like I've mentioned, if you call 112, 112 is for police response, FRS response, fire unit response in Nigeria. Yes, 112 still works. I've seen people, in fact, I was in a training where I was saying that, is anything even working in this country? And somebody had to shut me up and said, yes, she tried 112 and they came. And there was a day, somebody called me. There was a fire incident in the house adjacent to our house. And knowing my job, she had to call me. Please, sir, I don't know the number to call. Which emergency number can I call? There's fire burning the house beside their house. And they know that if the fire is done with the house, their house is the next one. I just told her 112. And then, lo and behold, I left her like after some hours. I just called her. How far? I said, thank you so much. That she became the, is it the heroine you call them as a woman of the day, that she saved the day. That if not, nobody had the number. It was she that made the call and they arrived and quenched the fire. Since that day, I don't talk, I don't talk, I don't speak ill of our emergency toll line again. And it's toll free. You don't have to have your recharge card or anything whatsoever. 112 is there for you. If you are trapped in a room, what do you do? And there is fire burning. Now, these are the skills that you can actually apply. Let's say you are in your department.
Sir James, sir, can you share your screen?
I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? You can see my screen, please say hi.
I cannot see any screen.
No.
Not even
Yes, somebody is sharing the screen with me. Somebody
Okay, please, can we all mute? Can you mute your mic, please?
Someone else is sharing the screen. There is somebody that is sharing the screen with me. That is why they couldn't see my screen.
Please, we share yours. I've sorted that. The person has been removed.
We sent out yesterday. Can you see my screen now?
Your screen is off.
Yes, it's up now.
So if you are trapped in a room or in your faculty or your department, okay, and there is fire burning, what do you do? The first thing you can do for yourself is to place wet material at the base of the door. So like this, you can place wet material. It will actually mitigate the heat that will be coming. Let's say there is fire burning in the other room. So it will mitigate the heat that will be coming through that place, and the fire will not be able to travel, because fire is just like air. It can pass under the door. It can, just to find its way if the other room cannot contain it again. Close all doors between you and fire. Be prepared to signal from the window. If you are trapped inside, you must actually get a white material, because it's only white material that is visible in fire. So you can hang down your white handkerchief through the window so that people outside can see you. That's how they can see you. If you are hanging a black cloth, there is black color among some fire that burn. There will be black smoke. If you're hanging down red, they may not see your own color. They will still see it like fire. But if you hang down white, there's no fire that burn white. Except if you have white smoke. In fact, if you can hang down your white handkerchief, that's when they can see that somebody is actually up there trapped. So that is how you can give signal when you are trapped in. What about burns, okay? Or when you have a severe fire event, what do? You are trapped in and you want to actually move yourself to a safe unit. Now, in most cases, what people do is that they start running. That is the wrong thing to do. The smoke, from fire actually weakens it. It makes you to actually, when you inhale it, within 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, you lose your strength. You cannot move again. And because experimentally, the clean air, that's the clean oxygen, is denser than the smoke. Many of us that did the science background will remember density. So when we say density, it means that if you have oxygen in that room, oxygen will go down and the smoke will be up like this. Because oxygen, pure oxygen, is denser, is heavier than smoke, so it will come down. So the only way you can survive, if you are standing, what you will be breathing in is this smoke, and that will be dangerous for you. So for you to actually breathe in some little amount of oxygen, you need to bend down like this man. You bend down, you can go all four, your 2 hands on the ground, your knees, and you start crawling. As you are crawling, if you have a cloth, you can be using it to filter. You have to be covering your nose and everything. If you see that you are not still breathing well like this, okay, if you see me demonstrating this in physical training, then you see that it's not a child's play. You may have to lie down on your chest, lie down flat, this is you, and start crawling. When you are crawling, do not run. When you are crawling, use your hand, stretch your hand like this, arm strength. This one I'm drawing is arm strength. Stretch it and move it, up and down to check if there's an obstacle, because it will not be good for you to be running from fire and then you hit your head on a blade. So use your hand, stretch it forward, up and down to check if there's no obstacle. Then you move 2 steps again. You check again, you move 2 steps. Drop to your hands and knees and crawl to a safe area. Hold your breath as much as possible. Breathe shallowly. This is not the time for you to actually be breathing in all the air that are coming. Make sure that you limit the amount of, because whether you like it or not, there will still be little amount of smoke that will be coming in. Okay. What if your body now catch fire? Okay, your body is burning with fire, your clothes. Don't run. Don't say egbami, help. Don't run. When you are running, you'll be gathering oxygen and the fire will be growing bigger. What you need to do is to drop on the floor. You stop. Stop like this man, this lady here, or man, drop on the floor and start rolling. When you are rolling on the floor, when I say roll, I don't mean that you should be rolling like this. You roll to and fro. There's a way you roll. Let me show you with my arrow. You roll like this, you roll back. You roll like this, you roll back. What are you doing? You are trying to suffocate the fire. As you are suffocating the fire, okay, rolling up and down, then the fire, luckily, it will be out of your body. You'll be able to quench the fire. But if you run, the fire will grow bigger. So these are the skills for us to actually learn. Now, let me briefly talk about the classification of fire. We have class A. Class A type of fire. Why is it important for you to know the classes of fire? So that you don't use a wrong fire extinguisher to fight fire. If you use a wrong fire extinguisher to fight fire, you will end up aggravating that fire. And that's what you see many people, when fire is burning, they say, carry homo, carry sand, carry water. It's not all fire you fight with water. I have so many experience that I can share with you, but that may just be taking your time. In fact, I've been in a place before. I was walking by in a street. I was just passing that street, and then I saw a very big crowd. A particular bus was about to burn to ashes, and they were pouring water. They were pouring water upon water. I just stood far from that place because I knew that they don't even know the source of fire. They don't know what is burning. They are using water. As they are pouring water, the fire was growing bigger. So when I inquired, the fire actually started from an electrical source. You can imagine, electrical source, maybe the battery terminal was still connected and they are just pouring water. Until luckily for that person, I just heard somebody discussing around that place. And there is fire extinguisher. Nobody knows how to operate it. And that was when I swept into action. I snatch, let me use the word snatch, the fire extinguisher from the person. Order them to raise the boss, just to raise the base for me, because that's another thing. You have to aim your fire extinguisher at the base. And I quenched the fire and became the hero of the day. You were looking at me, but I couldn't introduce myself. It's my job. I've faced, fire incidents in my car also before. In fact, that day, I would have lost my car. But thank God that the fire extinguisher in the car is actually fully charged. And that is why, when, government is, FRS is, they are stopping you on the road and everything, you will know that these things are actually for your safety. Thank God for the fire extinguisher that day. I stopped immediately, just entered a particular street, opened the bonnet, and then I had to spray the fire extinguisher. And what could have caused, a lot of havoc, within 5 minutes or so, the fire was out. So, knowing how to use your fire extinguisher is very important, and pay attention to it. With this training, if you don't know how to use fire extinguishers, after this training, you should know how to use it. So, class A is when you have wood, paper, clothes. If those one are the one burning, we call them class A fire. Class B fire, if it's flammable liquid like your kerosene, your grease, your oil, your paint, your solvents, anything flammable is the one that is burning. Because you have to know what is burning before you fight fire. Class C is electrical energized equipment. And let me tell you, nothing concerns you if there is what power supply or not. If you see any equipment and you see that the plug is still inside the socket, whether there is power there or not, we classify it as class C. It has become class C. If your phone is plugged down, whether there is power supply or not, in as much it is still plugged into the socket, it is class C in safety terms. Class D is combustible metal. You hardly encounter this, except in some, some unique kind of a job where you will be dealing with what metal like this funny. Yes, you hardly encounter this. Class K is when you have commercial cooking equipment, like your cooking oil, your animal fat, your vegetable oils. I put a whole lot of examples here. So let's look at fire extinguishers. This is your fire extinguisher. Please pay attention. This is your pressure gauge. This green, when you see the pointer on this green, it means that this fire extinguisher is charged. It is loaded. When you are not seeing this pointer, look at this pointer here. Look at this pointer. If the pointer is not on green, it means that they have used it, and you still be thinking that you have fire extinguisher. When there is fire outbreak, that's when you will know that what it is not charged. So you should check. Go around your company and see the fire extinguisher. If the gauge is there, although it's not all of them that normally have the gauge, I'm still going to talk about that. Okay. This is the security pin and tie. This one is actually being put there to ensure that you don't just press this lever and just discharge it. It is only when you are ready to use it, that's when you pull out the pin. And then this is the state fire marshal, the tag, okay, on it. So actually shows that you don't just have the fire extinguisher. You know that what it is not what expired. The container also should not actually be such that has expired, or the content also was expired. So using fire extinguisher, remember these acronyms, and then you can use your fire extinguisher. Remember the acronyms: PASS. P, you pull the pin. So this is your finger. Just pull the pin. The pin that you are seeing in that place, pull the pin. If you have the tag on it, aim at that tag and first drag the tag. When you drag the tag will cut, and then you pull out the pin. Because if you don't pull out the pin, you won't be able to press this lever. Okay. So press the lever, but you must aim at the base of the fire. That's the mistake that people make, especially if you are using fire extinguisher for the first time. Some people fight the smoke rather than fighting the fire. What is burning is still down here, okay? But the smoke is up here. So when they are positioning their hand, they aim at this smoke rather than aiming at the base. So you have to aim at the base, because when you quench what is burning, the smoke will die. But if you keep on fighting the smoke what is burning will produce more for you to fight. Do you get that, please? If you get that, say yes, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So you aim at the
No,
base,
sir.
aim at the base of the fire. Aim at the base. Let your fire extinguisher be directed to the feet of what is burning. Then you squeeze, okay? You squeeze this lever, you press it together, and then you start sweeping right and left. You are sweeping right and left to ensure that you fight entirely the whole surface area where you have this particular thing that is actually burning. So this is how you make use of your fire extinguisher. Pull the pin, aim, squeeze, and sweep. It does not require more than that. Okay, and then you have everything intact. So the last thing I will be discussing, so let me quickly move to that. Yes, I've been able to hit my targets tonight, and I'm very, very glad with that. So the last thing I want to discuss is our electrical safety. Yes, very important. Electrical safety. Okay, I'm bringing that up now. Yes, electrical safety. Yes, why you need to actually learn about electrical safety is that we all get to interact with this. Whether you're an electrician at work, you're a mechanical man, the equipment you are using is actually using power supply. So the overview of this is that you have to be aware that there are electrical hazards. And why I'm discussing this is that most of the fire incidents at workplace sometimes result from the electrical hazards. And because many people are not aware, okay, they are not always, or they believe that they are not the electrical man. Some people fear, anything electricity a lot. So anything that has to do with electrical hazard, they run away from it. They don't pay attention to it. But you have to pay attention to it and report it. What are the things that can result? You can have electrical shock, okay? Direct contact to electrical circuits. This can be from arcing, okay? This can be from electricity passing through the air, okay? Injury resulting from electrical shock, sometimes range from minor burns or death. Electrical injury, like this injury you are seeing on my screen, this electrical injury is always very, very, very critical. Electrical shock, burns, electrocution, falls caused from shock, severity of electrical injury, sometimes depends on the amount of current or length of time that it passed through the body. Okay, so what do we need to actually learn about this? You need to understand that there are electrical hazards and recognize them. And the best way for you to ensure that our electrical safety is actually in place is for you to actually recognize that there is a threat. When you see an exposed cable, there is a threat. The equipment that you are using, if you are an operator, when you see that the cable has pulled out, do not shut your mouth. Don't manage it. Don't use tape to hang it. It can cause anything. Electrical safety is so important because, the injury that comes from it is a direct threat to life. There are some machines that all they can do is to chop off your hand. You can still be alive. But when it comes to electrical can take life. Electrical fault can take life. And that's why it's very important. Evaluate the kind of risk it is and put the control measures there. Okay? You must plan the job and must note the potential electrical hazard. Okay? Identify them. Look at this diagram that I'm showing you. It is so dangerous. Okay, if anything like this, look like this at your place of work, it is so dangerous. Go back and correct all these things. Look at this junction here. This is an overload. Overload can result to fire outbreak. And you can be surprised that even the circuit breaker that's supposed to protect overload may not activate. We have seen some cases like that where the circuit breaker will be faulty. And instead of the circuit breaker to actually break out so that the overload will not occur, instead of that, it will be fire outbreak. It is very important that you learn to prevent the occurrence of fire than for you to plan on containing the fire when it has actually what happened. It is very, very important. Okay. Look at all this. You must, the requirement is that every staff, whether you're an electrician or not, you must actually identify in your department, you know, the spots where there can be fire outbreaks due to electrical faults. You must know in your department the spots where there can be fire outbreak, either due to electrical or not, but most especially where if you have electrical fault, there can be fire outbreak, whether you're an electrician or not. You have to note all those units, okay? And try to remove what the electrical hazards, and that's what I will be sharing last. That's the tips. Always test a circuit or wire before working on it to ensure it is what? De-energized. When you are taking permits on your machine, don't send your friend. Make sure you go there yourself to electrical department and stay there until they de-energize the equipment. Don't work on trust. We have seen cases where people work on trust and maybe they have beef with their friend and their friend will return the fuse and they die. Two things that you must ensure is being put in place when you're working on equipment. We call it log out, lock out. Also, people call it log or lock out, tag out. Lock out means that the breaker must be locked. The padlock must be put there. You are the one that will hold the key. You are the one working there. The key must be with you, who is going to work on the equipment that is being supplied by that electrical breaker. There must be a tag that must be put on it. Work ongoing. Do not switch on. That's the paper they will put there. And you also will have a copy with yourself. Because you never can tell. Somebody can come here and say, who is the person that even locked this place up? Don't they know that this machine needs to work? And they will start breaking the padlock. That's why the paper is being put there. There are men at work. Do not switch on. It is very important. Lock out and tag out all involved circuits and machines. Prevent overloading of a circuit. Prevent electrical shock by using the grounding. All your equipment must be well grounded. That's earthing. Earthing. I don't want to be using much electrical terms, but you must always call the electrical department. Let them come and check the machine. It's better for you to assess the machine than for you to rush in completing the job. I told you yesterday, you are the one that will receive the major pain. There is no company that will continue paying you if you die on the job. They will not continue paying your family. If you are amputated, you will only be out of the job. They can only pity you and pay some remuneration, and that will be just once. Nobody will place you on salary, eternal salary, when you are no more useful for the company. Care so much about your own safety. Do not attempt any task for which you are not properly trained. If you are not trained on the job, you don't know the nitty-gritty of the job, or the technical know-how of the job is still shady to you. Do not attempt it. You should always wear appropriate PPE. I've done a training before where somebody confessed wearing the hand glove or the mechanical hand glove doing an electrical job. That is wrong. Electrical glove, how will you know it? It is rubber. When you touch electrical glove, it is rubber. And it has a level of protection. It is not meant for you to be going to be touching live cable when you wear the glove. The glove is only there that if there's a little amount of current that's supposed to flow through you, at least it will not actually pass through your hand. But not that you are going to wear the glove and go and be touching live cable and say that I'm protected and be betting money. Don't do that. And when you look at the thickness of the glove, it will also tell you the level of voltage it can protect. There are gloves that can only protect you when you are working on a single phase, 220 volts, 240 volts. There are gloves like the one that the NEPA normally wear that can protect you when you are working on 415 or in transformer. But wearing your PPE doesn't mean that you should go and dare accidents. Wearing your PPE doesn't mean that you should go and dare hazard. Do not do that. PPE is just for all, this last man standing, that if there's even a mistake, but peradventure, Instead of you to get hurt, the PPE will protect you. It's not for you to go and be betting money. Have a safety culture. It is very, very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will stop here to give room for questions. On that note, if you have been with me all throughout, moderator, please permit me to do this. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So let's have questions. Let's have questions.
Okay. It's has been a great and engaging session so far. Also appreciate resource person, Mr. James, for that wonderful class, wonderful session. Okay, so quickly let us take questions. Yes, I've been seeing some hands while the class was ongoing. So I did mention that you should, if you have a question, that you should maybe drop it in the message session or wait till the end of the class when the trainer is done with class. Okay. So yes, Mr. Apollos, Apollos Henry, I can see your question. The classes of fire, was there any updates? Okay. A, combustion, inflammable liquid, gaseous, D, metallic fire, E, electrical fire. This is the classes I'm familiar with. Okay, so that is Mr. Derry's question. I will leave it to the resource person to respond to. Okay, John Mark Atazwa, can you unmute your mic and ask your question? John Mark, I can see your hand. Okay, let me go to Sheriff Yusuf. Sheriff Yusuf, I can see your hand. Please unmute and ask your question. Sheriff Yusuf, if you can hear me, unmute your mic and ask your question.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Okay, please go ahead.
My question borders basically around health and safety with respect to oil and gas. Like, for instance, now maybe if you are partaking in the construction of a filling station, maybe a CNG dispensing station or a PMS station. Now, let's take a PMS station, for instance, now, where you are laying pipes from the underground tank to the pumps. What kind of protective gear, the PPE, without apart from the boots? I'm not talking about the glove now. Which kind of glove is best suited for that kind of environment? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your question. Do we have any other question? Okay, I can see John Max in the comment section. Let me bring that up as well. Just a minute. Okay, so Green Diana is saying, please, job hazard analysis, is it the same as work permits? Okay. And John Mark is asking that what is the difference between JSA and JHA? But there's no big difference. Okay, so let me give our resource person, Mr. James, the opportunity to respond to those questions. Mr. James, over to you, sir.
Did I get the question of the one on PMS? Maybe he's just asking about the kind of PPE that can be used. Let me just take it this way.
So I guess he's asking that when laying pipes, aside from underground pipes, when it pertains to the petroleum and gas sector, that what other PPE can be used in such case? I think that's his question.
Okay, let me just address it like PPE anyway. Let me address it like PPE. PPE that are attached to a particular job is based on the recommendation of JSA. That's just job safety analysis. Okay, so PPE that you will use will depend on the job safety analysis take for instance, like the one you make mention of about PMS. Uh, if there may be possibility of fire outbreak, okay, in that particular place, you may have to, because you need to know that your fire, that's your cylinder, your fire cylinder, that's is part of your PPE. So glove is part of your PPE, depending on the kind of job that you are doing. Like this one, you talk about a lane of pipe. I think that's more mechanical. So you are not expected to wear rubber hand glove. You can just wear fabric and all this woolen hand glove. That's part of it. Depending on the impact it may have, it may be the one that is long to the extent of covering your wrist, or the one that will be long enough to reach the elbow. So depending on the nature of the job, that's why I'm saying that we have to assess the wholesome view of all the activities that you will carry out in the course of laying that pipe. So JSA will actually expose that, and due to that, there will be recommendations of the PPE. Will you need fire extinguishers? Will you need what's it called? Eye protection. Okay. If it's a limited a place where you have a limited oxygen, will you need artificial respiratory system to go in with, if it's going to be in a confined space or anything? So everything that has to do with job, the safety recommendation is that there should be JSA, no matter maybe the activities. So you must carry out job safety analysis. Job safety analysis is what will reveal what you need to put in place to ensure the safety of that particular place. So that's that. Somebody asked about the difference between JSA and JHHA. If I'm not mistaken, that may be job safety analysis and job hazard analysis. So that's there is no, if I'm going to take it the way it is, I will tell you that there is no difference, because what we are doing in JSA is to reveal the hazards that are attached to a particular job, and the job hazard analysis is also doing the same thing. It's just like a changing of terms. In fact, there is another terminology I've seen before. I may not be able to pick it right now. There's another analysis, what's it called? Like a terminology. So they can change the terminologies, but when you look at the meaning, it's just addressing the same thing. Now, JSA is not the same thing as work permit. Job safety analysis is to review the hazard, like we said. Work permit, is a permit for you to access a particular unit where you want to carry out what work. In most cases, confined space, you have to take a work permit. Why are we taking work permit? So that people operating that particular unit at that time will know that that unit will not function for this particular period of time, because there's an activities going on there. Just like you are shutting down a particular equipment for the purpose of maintenance or repair, and you are now informing everyone that is operating that particular unit, or that may have anything to do with that place, that, oh, a work like this is going on in that place. That's what we call it, permits. That's permits to work permits. It might be with you are going to electrical to say, okay, fine, please help us to shut down this particular unit. That place should not be powered while work is actually what's going on. And somebody is asking about classes of fire. Yes, there may be some update that you will see. In fact, you may see some people talking about class K and everything. But what you need to know is, what connection does this actually have with your fire extinguishers? My analysis of the classes of fire is to assist you in using correct fire extinguishers to fight the correct classes of what fire. And those ones that you see me mentioning about class A, class B, class C, D, are the pertinent one that across majority of the industries that you may interact with, those are the types that you will see. And the important thing to note is that when you want to use the fire extinguisher, You need to check the label on the fire extinguisher to know what class of fire is it actually what fighting, and you must know what is burning before you can actually what attempt to control or quench the fire. So that's how I may address it. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. Moderator.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. James, for that a beautiful response to those questions. Okay, that's quite understandable. Thank you, Grindania. John Mark is asking, what about MSDS? Okay, by MSDS, perhaps you are referring to material safety data sheet or thereabouts. So, well, I think it's material safety data sheet should be providing information
that one
on
is
the
just
use.
it's just a
Yes.
document. It's just a document.
Yes, so it provides
just the
a
document
safety,
that is providing information.
Providing a safety procedures for use of certain materials, maybe chemical materials or the likes. So that's basically what that is. Yes, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. James, and a very big appreciation to everyone who has asked one question or the other. Okay, like I did mention at the beginning of the class, at the end of this course, we are going to be dropping the assessment link. So there's a link to an assessment for us. So please, while we dismiss from this class, just go on the WhatsApp page. The assessment link is going to be dropped there alongside the information regarding the certification for this course. So for everyone interested in certification for this course, please, the documents will be dropped, and there's a form that you need to fill if you're interested in the certification. So you should fill the form, and also what is it called? Check up the certificate document. It contains the fee for the certification for this course. Yes, so please, most importantly, for you to assess our certificates, you have to do a 60% performance in the assessment. Everything that you have in the assessment as questions is not outside the scope of what has been taught in this class. And I do tell many people who come for HSA or occupational safety and health training like this, learning is a continuum. It doesn't end here. There are a lot of maybe perhaps new discoveries that you should keep updating yourself on. So classes like this are very important. So please do well to when you see classes like this, do well to engage with them. So on that note, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone once again. So, but before we leave, I would like to take one or two feedbacks of the class so far. So be calling on one or two persons to please give us their feedback of the class. Okay, Diana Green, if you can hear me, please, we'd love to have your feedback of the class. Diana Green, if you can hear me, please unmute your mic. Let's have your feedback of the class. Oh, okay. Perhaps you are in a place you can't. Okay, thank you. I've really been impacted and impressed. Thank you very much for that. Alu Ugochukwu. Sorry if I didn't pronounce the first name properly. Alu Ugochukwu. Would love to have your feedback of the class. Alu Ugochukwu, if you can hear my voice, can unmute your mic and please give us your feedback. Okay. Perhaps Alu Ugochukwu is busy as well. Kehinde Osage, your microphone is on. Is not on mute. So please, we'd love to have your feedback of the class so far. Kehinde Osage, I can see your.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay,
I'm
sir.
very grateful for the lecture, and it was very, very interesting. I love to see you when next time we have a lecture like this. Okay. So I'm so satisfied. God bless you. All my colleagues that participated, God bless every one of you. And the coordinator too, God also bless you. Okay. Have a nice day. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your feedback a whole lot. Thank you so much for that. So please, we have our YouTube page, our YouTube channel. Please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have loads of trainings, live trainings like this, and that we actually made free participation that you can equally benefit from. So in order to access them, just go to our page and click the subscribe button. I'll be dropping the YouTube link on the WhatsApp group as well, so we can have access to it. Or before we even round up, I can just drop it as well. So For everyone who has been a part of this class, thank you so much. John Mark, Kendi, Ozagi, Matthew, Odama, Precious, a lot of people have actually dropped. So thank you, and thank you very much. So till we meet again, please, the assessment link and the the certification documents will be dropped on the WhatsApp group. So please do follow up with those information. So Mr. James, do you have any parting thoughts for us before we leave? Mr. James, any parting words?
Well, I just want to appreciate everyone. I appreciate you for your participation, and at the same time, I want to encourage you that don't let it just be that this will be the end of your growth in safety. Please go back to the recorded video. It will allow you to absorb more, attempt the assessment, be serious with the assessment. And I want to encourage you that connect with the values that we offer through our certification. Try as much as possible to meet up with the payment, the deadline payment for the certification. It's actually seal up the values that you have gotten from this training. Try as much as possible to also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can have access to more trainings and other updates that may be coming up on safety. So we have other trainings on our YouTube channel also. So connect with us with those values. That's what we pledge to actually offer. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So till we meet again some other time, we have a training ongoing on project management professional. So for those who are interested in that class, you can, if you have the time, you can join in. Although we've gone so far in that class, but it's something you can still learn from. So the class is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Tomorrow. So it's going to end next week, Thursday. So we just have because it's a 3-week long class. So we are in 2 weeks already, second week, but you can still benefit from it. The previous classes are on the YouTube page, so you can just go there. There's a playlist for you see as project management professional. You can go through the playlist and have a view of the classes covered so far. So thank you very much, everyone. Till we meet again some other time. Do have a productive day and week ahead. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.